So this is the final choice that I have made for this photograph. You don't have to go with every single detail of the photo that you need to match out, but in this case what I've done is I've taken the blue paper because it matches the blue in the bedspread, the beige because it goes with the beige on the bear and a little bit of beige in the bedspread, the pink for highlights, and the floral pattern to match the floral that we have in this photo. So the whole layout is going to centre around that bedspread. Now this is a process that might take me an hour or it might take several days. I will just pull out every combination of papers and I'll sit the photos on it and look at it, decide yes, no, maybe. If it's a no, I discard it and put it to one side. If it's a maybe, I put it to the other side and the yeses go in a different pot. And then finally I will put them all together and come up with my ultimate decision. So it may take you several days, it may take you an hour, but I like to give myself options. By going through all of the papers that I have, I remind myself of what I have, and that helps when I'm looking for a tiny little piece for a further layout later on. So you can see that this particular layout has been driven by the backgrounds and the colours that are contained within that. I've also decided to go with a sticker that I have, and I will make that into an embellishment for the page because it matches in so well with the theme. The other thing to think about is titles. Sometimes your title can drive the layout more than anything. In this case I will probably go with something like "You're so very cute." And in that case I can do, little teddy bears holding up letters, or I can do any number of things. But it just gives me something to work with. Now, other times what will drive your layout is the title itself. What I did this time was I pulled out all of the things in my stash of many things that had something to do with a very gardeny sort of thing with the branches, and I pulled out all of the things that had lots of blue, and I pulled out a bit of red, and I went through all of these options. And going through my stash, I had butterflies, I had some gorgeous letters that have a real springtime feel and have little lady beetles and butterflies on them. I even had a look at these metal words and thought of those as a possible embellishment. I may still use those. You never know till you get to the last pip to the post, as it were. So I'm going to show you a few of the options for these photos and show how my process sort of works. So I've spoken about this particular photo before, and what I did was with a crafting knife I cut out this leaf pattern through the photo. And because the photo itself had such lovely red tendency with the hat, I got out some red papers, of course, and I've got out some blue papers. But at that stage I'm not very excited, so I had a look at this wood pattern, okay, because it has a very much distressed wood sort of look about it. Still wasn't excited. I then sat down and I matched up all of the colours that were contained in it. So the blues, the browns, had a look at all of that. Even though, and I found this little bit of ribbon that had the blue and the brown and the little bit of red to match the hat. Even though those papers matched really well, I still wasn't 100% happy. So I then started thinking about what title I was going to use. For me, the title of this picture just felt right for it to be something about how he modelled for the photo, because it was his idea to pose like that for the photo. And I thought perhaps I might say, underneath that model exterior, you're all boy. And then that sort of got me thinking about, well, you know, what will I do with that? How can I reveal the underneath and talk about that sort of element? So I started going through my supplies, and I saw this zipper. And I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could create the effect with the paper of the zipper opening up to a layer underneath. And that started me looking at, you know, completely different papers. I knew I needed to stay in the blue range, and I knew that I needed to stay with a little bit of red to accentuate the red in the hat. So what I finally decided, after looking through different things, and I looked at, you know, this to be the paper in the reveal, because it says oh boy, and I looked at this paper to be in the reveal because it's very boy with the little caps and things like that. But I decided that this was a little bit too babyish, and in this photo you can see he's such a little boy now rather than a little baby. So finally I came back to these papers, and what I've got here is a selection of contrasting papers. They all match each other really well. They continue the same sort of colour themes through the blues, which I'll then use for the zipper piece. And then I've got this little bit of red that I can use for accents. And one of the things that I thought of was that perhaps that red would look best behind the photo, because it will show up all that cutout work that I did. So although you can start off looking for the perfect papers to match a layout, and you know, really these are the perfect papers to match this. We've got the browns, the blues, the bit of red, perfect sort of look, lots of lovely words here that sort of match, you know, one of a kind and all that sort of thing. But in the end, because my title didn't represent that well enough, I'll be going with these papers. And I found this lovely embellishment as well. Only you can be you, and we like it that way, being original. I thought, you know, this will come together as a really, really lovely layout, and I'm really impressed with the finds. So you can see how you may start off in one direction, but you can head off in another direction. So before you start your layouts and before you start doing anything, have a look at the colours that are in the photos, okay, because that will drive a lot of your layouts, not all of them, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. And then once you've looked at the colours, have a look at the theme. Is there a theme represented there? Sometimes it's a birthday party, so you're looking for papers that will go with that. Other times it's your title, so in this case it was the title that drove the layout and the eventual choice. But yeah, be very, very methodical in what you're doing. Once you have decided on your papers and things like that, then the next step after that is how to do the layout.